Dysfunctional Vet here. As you can see, I have this little lizard right in my sights. This little lizard is not the one that lives in my greenhouse, but he's close to the same size. He's about from head to his tail, and his tail is really long, say about 8 inches long. The one that lives in my greenhouse, head to tail, is about 10 inches long. But that is not what I am going to be filming. I'm going to show you how to make toad houses if you live out in an area that's very rural. Dysfunctional Vet here. As you can see, this area right in here has a lot of debris, a lot of dirt buildup. Got this, it's about a 20-inch log laying here on the ground with lots of openings coming up underneath it. As well as back in here in the forest, you can see that there's a great deal of habitat where toads could dig in and make homes. Just to my left right here, at the base of these two trees, if you notice, a lot of pine needles, a lot of places to make for toads to make homes. What I do to encourage the safety of my toads is sometimes I'll provide them with homes in areas that have less than adequate coverage. This area right here doesn't need a toad home. These areas right back in here that you see, I don't know if that's coming through, I hope it is. Those areas, they're elevated. There's a depression right in here, but that's elevated, this is elevated. These are good spots for toads to make homes, and they will. These areas that flood, the toads will quickly move out of it as this area gets lots of rain. But let me show you how I make habitats for toads. I take just plain old everyday cans. This may have been a soup can, it may have been something else, I'm not sure. This is a can of tomatoes and okra. And what I'll do is I'll dig these in on a high spot. I'll bury them into the dirt. And as they rot, the toad will then start packing the dirt and will make their little habitat. So he'll have a little tunnel that goes all the way back in here somewhere, and then he's safe and secure come wintertime. And this is what I do in areas that are sort of inadequate for toads where I want them to have some homes. An example of that would be right out here on the driveway. As you can see, it's very wide and open, not a lot of habitat. Now, I wouldn't actually build one here because it would get run over by something like a trailer, a tractor, any number of things. But where I have a large open expanse and I want toad houses, I'd build them. Let me show you this real quick. Here we have a wide open expanse. This goes over to my garden. That right there is a fallen tree that I've never done anything with. And then we come into this. These areas right here are nice and high, and it would be a good spot to put a toad house. Although there's some debris there, there's not enough for them really to have a habitat unless they go back inside there. So we could dig that in, and that's what I'll do. A couple of scoops of dirt, which I just use this to scoop it out. Put this in like so. Then start putting the dirt and debris back on top of it. On this one. And this one. We'll scrape this a little bit. Set this in place. Put the dirt on top of it. Put more dirt on top of it. Put some leaves and dirt on top of it. We scrape that back in. Now we have two toad houses. We have this one right here, and we have that one right there where you can see the top little white area of it. And I'll be covering that over a little bit more. And the toads will find these and they will move in. and life will be good. The other thing that I do with cans like this is I'll punch a small hole in the back of them and put a tack through there, and then use a metal rod, and I'll nail those up on dead trees or fence posts for wasps to make traps in. The wasp eat spiders, and I'm able to control the spider population by having a large quantity of wasp. I try to put these in an area where I will not be bothered. I have found wasp nests up to about 8 inches in the trees, and I never bother those either. As I sign off, here's some oyster mushrooms growing in this oak. Oyster mushrooms are almost always edible. I've never eaten these. I believe these are called turkey oysters because they have like the turkey tail shape on them. As you can see, they're really very pretty. With that said, Dysfunctional Vet out.